My name is Travis, and I'm studying a double major in political science and economics. I support this effort. I think it's a great idea, but my question is that one of the criticisms of Congress is that it's becoming more and more partisan, and then that's making it very difficult to get a lot of things through. And so if we move a lot of this power back to Congress, are they really going to be able to get things done on this? Because, I mean, with the partisanship and with the difficulty that Congress has had in coming together, it's been very difficult. And in fact, for a lot of the executive decisions that the president can make, the rationalization that he's made for them is that, well, Congress hasn't done anything on these, so I have to do something. So I just wanted you to answer that.
I can answer that question. I think that actually this helps with working together because, again, the bills that I've put out, by the way, you're talking about vet bills and higher education bills, bringing down the cost of higher education. Those are all bipartisan bills. Those are all bills that I've gone to colleagues, and I've had the same amount of Democrats actually on those bills as Republicans. This is, again, instead of this becoming about regulator that has never met you, that's never stepped foot in the state of Utah, that doesn't understand the ins and outs of what we deal with in our state, not having so much ability to make rules over us. I mentioned those statistics at the beginning of my remarks just so you know these are laws and rules that we're living by, and these aren't people that you've elected. And there's no way, if you have some sort of recourse against them, there's no way that you can fire them or get rid of them. And that, again, is concerning because when you've got government that is not for, by, or of the people, then you end up looking like a government where people have no say, and all of a sudden you've got Washington bigger, you're smaller, and it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't work for us any longer. So again, getting those decision making back into Congress, at least they're held accountable. At least they can get voted in and get voted out. At least you can go to the ballot box and at least you have access to them. You can call them and say, hey, I disagree or I agree. Or, hey, by the way, that one subject at a time bill that Mia is proposing, you need to get on that because I support that. That allows us to be able to work together and pass legislation. I think legislation that is a lot better for us and works for us.
I would add to that only one thing, which is a lot of what we're talking about focuses on the types of reforms seen in the REINS Act proposal, regulations from the executive in need of scrutiny. That would just result in Congress casting more votes, which is exactly what needs to happen, because it would break down these regulations, put them forward one at a time on sort of a fast track, where Congress would have a simple binary choice, up or down, yes or no. And so that's really what we need more of, is more votes by Congress. So rather than impeding bipartisan cooperation of the sort that we need, where we have more members of Congress taking more votes on more issues, this would actually accelerate that.
My name is Juan Carlos Guerrero. I'm a student at the University of Utah. I'm a senior. I just wanted to ask you, looking forward, how would you garner bipartisanship within A1P?
It's going to take some time. We first have to get a lot of proposals put together first. I think this is something that could, would, should, and ultimately will become very much bipartisan. Because over time, as we get this off the ground, people will see that the proposals we're coming forward with are not ideological. They are not partisan. And particularly when, let's suppose if we have a change in administration, if we have a change in the party controlling the White House, I think it may at that moment become more easy to bring along some Democrats who can see that there are some dangers in giving so much authority to the executive branch. Mm-hmm. And at that point, even if there is a Republican president, Representative Love and I are going to be no less enthusiastic about making sure that the people are in charge of those decisions rather than whoever happens to be in the White House. And so we're going to continue to message this as ideologically neutral relative to parties. It's going to take us some time to get there, but it ultimately will get there. Keeping in mind, again, that this whole idea came from James Landis, who was a very powerful Democrat within the FDR administration.
Hi, my name is Tulasi. I'm a double major in physics and astronomy here. And this question is mostly for Senator Lee, but I'd be interested to hear your take on it as well. You both speak very passionately about the conservative belief in constitutionalism and in having branches do what they were intended to do and be accountable in the way they were intended to be accountable. How does that factor into your refusal, Senator Lee, to hear any appointments that President Obama makes to the Supreme Court, given that it is within the Constitution that the president, no matter how close they are to being out of office, should be able to appoint nominees, and the Senate should hear those nominees?
Yeah, great question. Article 2, Section 2 clearly does give the president that power. He does have that power. He has that power the entire time he's in office. Whether it's 4 years or 8 years, he retains that power the entire time. Just the same, the Senate retains its power to decide when, whether, to what extent, under what process someone's going to be confirmed. It's important to remember that there is no affirmative requirement that the Senate confirm or that the Senate even vote to confirm. It simply says that the person, after having been nominated by the president, may be appointed by the president by and with the advice and consent of the Senate. They have to achieve that. Now, this is not an idea unique to Republicans. In many ways, the statement I just made at the outset of this came from Joe Biden in 1992 and from Harry Reid in 2005.
Yeah.
And so this is up to the discretion of the Senate to decide how, when, whether, and under what procedures anyone will receive a vote and be confirmed or not.
And the only answer I have is both branches are executing their powers in the Constitution, and just because it's not moving, there's a reason why there is that balance. Because again, it prevents a president from going in and making decisions. It also prevents the Senate from doing whatever they want to also. So again, this is what you're seeing is slowing down the process so that we can take a breather. And again, I'm always supportive of the American people having some sort of a say in what happens and making sure that people are inserting themselves in that process. So both branches are using their constitutional powers, and that's what you're seeing right now.